I think when we first spoke, years ago, there was a feeling, not just with you, but I think most people of, Andrew's never going to actually be arrested or anything. But have you changed at all? Do you think Andrew might now see the inside of a prison cell?
No, I don't think he will, because I think that's a step too far for everyone. With so many, rich, powerful people never see the inside of a prison cell. I mean, it was, I don't think Epstein, if he hadn't died, would have actually really been convicted. He would have found a way out, some sort of sweetheart deal, as he did with the original charge. He had compromised on so many people. He had, powerful people on his side.
So was Epstein he died in a prison cell, but had he not yet been convicted?
No, it was very much the early stages. He in 2008, 2009, he served a short sentence for soliciting a minor. I mean, he had this was the Palm Beach police investigation. Basically he spent the night in prison, but he was able to go to his office during the day. It was a very, very lenient sentence, having everyone thought he'd be banged to rights and, in prison for the rest of his life. And then later he was arrested in July 2019. And this was a federal charge. So this was the FBI investigating him, because of offenses he'd committed outside Florida. So that was a state case. But he was only literally just been arrested. The lawyers hadn't begun he hadn't had a trial. So this is why his death is surprising. He had everything to play for at that stage. And the idea of committing suicide when there was still a long way to go in the legal process just doesn't make sense to, even to the victim's lawyers. So I don't think that's a conspiracy theory. I think there are strong arguments to suggest that and we know all the cock-ups, the cameras that were switched off and the guards that weren't there, and the autopsy that wasn't made public, and Michael Barden's autopsy suggesting it was murder. So I mean, there's lots and lots of evidence to support that. And maybe the government will the story of Epstein's death will come out. I suspect that all those papers have been destroyed. The person who did it, and I know I've been told who did it. I think has been spirited away, and no one's going to find them.
You've been told who killed Epstein?
Yeah.
Can you say?
No.
Probably best not to.
Probably best not to.
But we'd have to, put more security here.
Yes, you would be in trouble.
Yeah, everybody would be in trouble for that. Maybe you'll tell me off air in a minute.
Yes, maybe.
Bloody hell. Okay. And every now and then what seems to happen is the news cycle, sports, Gary Lineker says something stupid, this person says something, and then suddenly there's more about Andrew and Epstein pops up front. Is someone sort of siphoning off little snippets of new things? Do you think there is someone out there with a stack of more stuff and they're gradually putting it out there?
Well, that's the impression we're getting, because it's all about British people. I mean, with Mandelson before, we're not getting leaks about the Americans, and it is Americans who are mainly involved in this case. So there's something going on. But I mean, who actually has access to this material? Well, I mean, Daphne Barrett clearly knows, but she's not going to say. But it is clever. I mean, the feeling in the royal family is, the news agenda is to say, we'll move on. It'll be Gaza or Ukraine or something. Everyone will forget. And then every so often something comes back and the whole thing gets resurrected. And must be their worry that, this problem is never going to go away. There's going to be this drip feed. Each time it gets worse and worse. And Andrew and Sarah keep digging their own graves by some of the comments they make, which are patently not true. And that's why they need to get ahead of the narrative and really sort of exile them, just marginalize them, because we had this moment where Sarah was being invited to the Royal Box at Wimbledon. She was at Ascot. She was being invited to Sandringham. She was going to certain events, and Charles felt she'd been very useful because of her support for cancer charities. Now she's toxic. No one wants to be linked to her. She's seen as damaged goods. And I can't think anyone except perhaps, some Chinese businesses and people in the Middle East are going to want to associate with the two.
Yes, it's only sort of downhill from here on out, I believe, with them.
Yeah, but they're both of retirement age. I mean, they've both made lots of money. They've got grandchildren. There's no reason why they couldn't have basically a quiet life of retirement. But I think like the Duke of Windsor was sent into exile abroad. The best thing that can happen is that they just go quietly out of circulation somewhere. Mm-hmm. And I think Andrew might do that, but Sarah, I think is going to come bouncing back. She had that episode in 2010 where she was caught on film selling access to Andrew. And you would have thought that would be the end of her career. But she goes on Oprah and she's back, promoting things on shopping channels and writing books and everyone thinking she's wonderful.
Who do you think killed Epstein? No, I'm joking. I've got one more question for you, but where can people get your wonderful book entitled? Well,
that's kind of you. I mean, it's on Amazon. It's in all good bookshops. So you should. I have a website, andrewloney.me, which gives details, for example, of my speaking engagements. And so that will, if people are keen to come and see me talk and get signed copies. And there's more coverage of the sort of podcasts I've done, television programs, things like that, reviews of the book.
Can I ask you a favor? Please subscribe. 90% of you are not subscribed, so if you sub, it will help the channel, and I'll keep making these clips.